Guys, as we come in, can we like and sub? Thank you so much. Please, as we come in, can we go like? Hi, Praga. Thank you for liking. Please, if you're just coming, let's go like. Hi, Ima. Thanks for coming. Yeah, guys, please let's like. Let's like. Thank you. So we can start. Okay. All right. The first person on this evening night stream today is Praga. A big shout out to you, Praga. And the second person is Ima. And the third person is Lucky. A big shout out to you, Lucky. Yeah, thank you for liking. Thank you, guys. Let's come in, drop your name. I give you a shout out, okay? The way we do it. Let's go. A big shout out to Abby. A big shout out to Ima. A big shout out to Lexi. A big shout out to Azure. Please let's go like and sub. The like is not counting. I don't know why. A big shout out to Nahia. A big shout out to Medina. A big shout out to Daya. A big shout out to Isabella. Guys, come in, please. As you come in, can we go like? A big shout out to your brother Noah. A big shout out to Lena. A big shout out to your sister Sunday. A big shout out to Hima. A big shout out to Jess. A big shout out to Bahili. Yeah, please let's go like and sub. Thank you. A big shout out to Jamila. A big shout out to Brandon. A big shout out to Mehira. A big shout out to Andrea. A big shout out to Chi. A big shout out to Natalie. A big shout out to Grace. A big shout out to Rai. A big shout out to Grace. A big shout out to Aliza. A big shout out to Rennie. A big shout out to Precious. A big shout out to Grace. A big shout out to Jenny. Shout out to Bridget. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Ricky. Shout out to Kataleya. Shout out to Glory. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Emilia. Shout out to Mira. Shout out to Evanas. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Gracie. Shout out to Kira. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Bestie. Hi. Shout out to Rennie. Shout out to Gavin. Shout out to Zach. Guys, drop your name. Let's go. Shout out to Amelia, Kelly, and I did not see the last one. A big shout out to Kinley. A big shout out to Brinley. Big shout out to Lila. A big shout out to Koa. A big shout out to Stella. Big shout out to Selena. Big shout out to Vic. Big shout out to Nila. A big shout out to Cardin. Big shout out to Isabella. Big shout out to Cardin. A big shout out to Fatima. A big shout out to Rahigan. A big shout out to Amelia. A big shout out to Kingsley. A big shout out to Sarah. A big shout out to William. Big shout out to Nila. Big shout out to Lena. A big shout out to Aurora. Big shout out to Savannah. A big shout out to Bendova. Guys, please let's go like. Please let's go. A big shout out to Hafsat. A big shout out to Aurora. Let's go. A big shout out to Kobe. Big shout out to Ibtal. A big shout out to Suma. Yeah. A big shout out to Nick. Guys, please, as you're just coming in, please let's like. Please let's like. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. A big shout out to Kate. A big shout out to Arcel. A big shout out to Ventalistra. A big shout out to Kathleen. A big shout out to Kaina. A big shout out to Shawa. A big shout out to Brian Dafuri. A big shout out to Suki. Big shout out to Rebecca. Big shout out to Emily. Big shout out to Darcy. Big shout out to Suki. A big shout out to Ben Cover. A big shout out to Marja. A big shout out to Dahila. Big shout out to Kahinat. A big shout out to Sky. A big shout out to Shaisha. A big shout out to Miku. Shout out to Emilia. Shout out to T. Shout out to Dahlia. Shout out to Kahinat. Shout out to Hava. Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to Painting. Shout out to Ima. Shout out to Maya. Shout out to Shania. Shout out to Philip. Shout out to Naomi. Shout out to Marvelous. Shout out to Kelly. Shout out to Bonnie. Shout out to Lila. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Kelly. Shout out to Frederica and Matthew. Shout out to Royal. Thank you for subbing. Guys, please let's go like and sub. Thank you. Please let's go like and sub. Thank you. A big shout out to Davido. Big shout out to Kimberly. Shout out to Nohemi. Shout out to Bisola. Shout out to Marvelous. Shout out to Jehonjin. Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Joey Dean. Shout out to Nahemi. Shout out to Amira. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Claire. Shout out to Adam. Shout out to Scarlett. Shout out to Melody. Shout out to Alison. Shout out to Jenna. Shout out to Falak. Shout out to Mina. Shout out to Lala. Shout out to Osas. Shout out to Kupra. Shout out to Melissa. Shout out to Bianca. Shout out to Aisha. Shout out to Kali. Shout out to Mari. Shout out to Senem. Shout out to Daniela. Shout out to Senem. Shout out to Jaquili. Shout out to Zana Rose. Shout out to Glory. Guys, please let's go like and sub. Let's take 10 seconds. 10 seconds to like and sub. Thank you. Shout out to Samuela. Shout out to Berlin. Let's go, please. Let's take 10 seconds to like and sub. Thank you so much. Let's count down. 1, to like and sub. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and have we all like? And 10. Thank you. Thank you so much. So can we drop our names now? Please let's all drop our names. Yeah, I'm here to give you a shout out. A big shout out to Kelly. Shout out to Leslie. Shout out to Safet. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Sophie. Shout out to Shamsa. Shout out to Neham. Shout out to Maja. Shout out to Tony Clarkit. Shout out to Kahinet. Shout out to Baheli. Shout out to Jen Lee. You're welcome, guys. Shout out to Million. Shout out to Edlin. Guys, please, we should share to our friends. Tell your friends, your family. They should come, like, and subscribe. Tell them to put their name just to make them happy, to brighten their name. For you to. Oh, they don't verify you. How come? Wow. Everything is working for our good. A big shout out to McKenna. Big shout out to Adasa. A big shout out to McKenna. A big shout out to Hayas. Thank you. A big shout out to Harper. You all have beautiful names. So gorgeous. A big shout out to Haras. A big shout out to Lila. Big shout out to Jana. Big shout out to Rosie. Big shout out to Leave. Big shout out to Marie. Big shout out to Maria. Big shout out to Mangi. Big shout out to Jonas. Big shout out to Zahi. Big shout out to Betty. Big shout out to Mina. Big shout out to Janessa. Big shout out to Nikki. Big shout out to DC. Big shout out to Rory Hara. Big shout out to Sophia. Big shout out to Hartley. Big shout out to Osha. Big shout out to Mangi. Clock it. Big shout out to Soraya. Big shout out to Ima. Big shout out to Timmy. Guys, let's go. Let's like and sub. Big shout out to Indigo. Big shout out to Timmy. Big shout out to Kiki. Big shout out to Lillian. Big shout out to Mia. Big shout out to Mangi. Big shout out to Tati. Shout out to Brit. Shout out to Tati. Shout out to Patsy. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Mickey. Shout out to Jelly. Shout out to Light. Shout out to Mickey. Shout out to Lena. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to the names. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Rose. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Colette. Shout out to Kehoki. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Faith. Shout out to Hima. Shout out to Miranda. Shout out to Chelsea. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Das. Shout out to Messia. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Wasa. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Madison. Shout out to Harper. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Cassidy. Shout out to Athena. Shout out to Louise. Shout out to Das. Shout out to Lillian. Shout out to Isabella. Shout out to Himashi. Shout out to Koleke. Shout out to Dylan. Guys, please let's go like and subscribe. Thank you. Yeah, can we? I just need 3 persons, just 3. 3 kind persons to take it to 40. Thank you. Please let's quickly do that for 10 seconds. Yeah, just 3. 3 lovely, lovely person to take it to 40 likes. Thank you so much. Guys, if you're just coming and you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. And I posted a video today, a lovely fashion arc. Please let's go have a look. I also create content and they are beautiful content. You can go have a look, drop your comments, let me know you watch it, and also drop your like. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I just need 3 persons to complete the 40 likes, please. Please, if you have not subscribed, let's go subscribe. I love you too. I love you too, guys. And yeah, just drop your name now. Please, just keep dropping your name. I might not call you, but please keep dropping your name back to back. That will help a lot. A big shout out to Fiona. A big shout out to Yusuf. A big shout out to Olat. A big shout out to Kiki. A big shout out to Lucas. A big shout out to Lucia. A big shout out to Dax. A big shout out to Olivia. A big shout out to Amera. A big shout out to Oliver. A big shout out to Clockit. A big shout out to Noah. A big shout out to Stella. A big shout out to Jocelyn. A big shout out to Joseph. A big shout out to Hami. A big shout out to Holly. A big shout out to Bo. A big shout out to Anaya. A big shout out to Molly. A big shout out to Avery. A big shout out to Kitty. A big shout out to Diane. A big shout out to Katseye. A big shout out to Coco. A big shout out to Molly. A big shout out to DJ Fitty. A big shout out to Amelia. A big shout out to Jacob. A big shout out to Yate. A big shout out to Cleona. A big shout out to Yachi. A big shout out to Regan. A big shout out to Nadine. A big shout out to Bianca. Yeah, guys, please let's take 10 seconds to go like and sub while I take just a little sip. 10 seconds, please. Still very hot. Okay, let's go, guys. Please let's like and sub. If you have not sub, please let's go sub. Clock it. Yeah, thank you. A big shout out to Sophia. A big shout out to Kim Gino. A big shout out to Ishaka. A big shout out to Jacob. A big shout out to Victoria. A big shout out to Milena. A big shout out to Daniel. A big shout out to Olivia. A big shout out to Charlotte. A big shout out to Divya. A big shout out to Reba. A big shout out to Rayat. A big shout out to Mia. A big shout out to Santi. A big shout out to Braylee. A big shout out to Daniela. A big shout out to Nikki. A big shout out to Aurora. A big shout out to Rubin. A big shout out to Aggie. A big shout out to Marv. A big shout out to Hannah. A big shout out to Destiny. A big shout out to Alaida. Yeah, we love you too. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Neo Life. A big shout out to Slehona. A big shout out to Nora. A big shout out to Daniela. A big shout out to Mikada. A big shout out to Jacob. Today is Jacob's birthday, so let's quickly wish him happy birthday. Yeah, just 10 seconds. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jacob. Happy birthday to you. A big shout out to Kema. A big shout out to Benty. A big shout out to Candice. A big shout out to Joanna. A big shout out to Taboka. If it's your birthday, wait till it gets to your birthday. I will definitely sing for you. Even if it's August, I'll still be here by God's grace. So wait till it gets to your birthday, okay? My daughter's birthday is tomorrow. So I'll sing for her tomorrow on the live stream. Okay? So I have to wait till tomorrow. Okay, she's 11th of January. Yeah, I have all the photo shoots already. Yeah, probably I'll post it on YouTube so that you can see her and also wish her happy birthday. Thank you guys. Let's go. A big shout out to Sasha. A big shout out to Warren. A big shout out to Julia. A big shout out to Cecilia. A big shout out to Mishka. A big shout out to Fuma. A big shout out to Hibiba. A big shout out to Saria. A big shout out to Olight. A big shout out to Aggie. Shout out to Jelma. Shout out to Mets. Shout out to Amira. Shout out to Phantom. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Talia. Shout out to Diana. Shout out to Lucy. Shout out to Elizabeth. Shout out to Kelly. Please, guys, let's take the likes up. Let's use 10 seconds to like. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you so much. Let's go. Drop your names. Let's go. A big shout out to Kingsley. A big shout out to Patricia. A big shout out to Leah. A big shout out to Henry. A big shout out to Melissa. A big shout out to Phoebe. A big shout out to Mag. A big shout out to Devon. A big shout out to Ming. A big shout out to Fatima. A big shout out to Tahita. A big shout out to Matthew. Shout out to Delila. Shout out to Amoya. Shout out to Destiny. Shout out to Delila. Yeah, guys, let's go. Please, let's take the likes up. Thank you so much. Please, let's take the like up. Yeah, just for 10 seconds, please. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Please, can we take the likes up? And if you have not subscribed, can you subscribe, please? Clock it. Yeah, shout out to Tawanda. Shout out to Magdalena. Shout out to Joanne. Shout out to Adeli. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Yayo. Shout out to Hela. Shout out to Brinley. Shout out to Jessica. You guys' names are beautiful, man. Yeah, beautiful names. Lovely. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. A big shout out to Homa. A big shout out to Natalie. A big shout out to Lexi. Shout out to Jahimi. Shout out to Hazu. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Gons. Shout out to Bolly. Gorgeous names. Shout out to Reggie. Shout out to Leo. You're welcome. Shout out to Cam Dan. Thank you so much. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to Mailik. Can you give me? Yeah, I can give you a shout out. Please drop your name. Shout out to Timmy. Shout out to Hedin. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Danadi. Shout out to Stu. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Julie. Shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Jane. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Devon. Shout out to Becca. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Samia. Shout out to Faith. Shout out to Gloria. Shout out to Davani. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Senad. Shout out to Clover. Shout out to Melody. Shout out to Jazz Danadi. Shout out to Nata. Guys, let's go. Please, let's like and sub. Thank you so much. Yeah, let's go like and sub. Thank you. Thank you so much. Shout out to Celine. Shout out to Mora. Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to Dazani. Shout out to Marcos. Shout out to Julie. Shout out to Toby. Shout out to Genesis. Shout out to Andy. Shout out to Isla. Shout out to Aubrey. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Valerie. Shout out to Kiki. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Lilian. Shout out to Bema. Shout out to Tama. Shout out to Lilian. Shout out to Braden. Shout out to Devon Jacobs. Shout out to Feria. Shout out to Kiana. Shout out to Peppa. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Kiana. Shout out to Peppa Pig. Like, seriously? Oh my god. Who wrote that? Yeah, guys, please, let's take 10 seconds to like. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Somebody just wrote Peppa Pig. Clock it. Oh, Katie. Hi, my lovely. Thank you. Is Sophia still here? No, Sophia hasn't come. Guys, let's take 10 seconds to like and sub. God bless you all. Are you good? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. A big shout out to Anaya. A big shout out to Patrick. A big shout out to Emiri. A big shout out to Preston. A big shout out to Josh. A big shout out to Kiona. A big shout out to Jasmine. A big shout out to Olivia. A big shout out to Carter. A big shout out to Nora. A big shout out to Ozra. A big shout out to Carly. A big shout out to Helen. A big shout out to Lena. A big shout out to Juzan. A big shout out to Jace. A big shout out to Rayleigh. A big shout out to Yuli Kawinas. A big shout out to Sophie. A big shout out to Ezra. A big shout out to Hannah. Shout out to Amoti. Shout out to Salim. Shout out to Maisi. Shout out to Binky. Shout out to Carlos. Thanks for subscribing. Shout out to Hastings. Shout out to Jocelyn. Shout out to Kimran. Shout out to Becky. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Ashley. Shout out to Hurata. Shout out to Caitlin. Shout out to Edin. Shout out to Painting. Shout out to Jawaria. Shout out to Kim Sung Mi. Shout out to Bo. Shout out to Yo Vonen. Shout out to Larissa. Shout out to Bolt. Shout out to Lauren. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Kim Kadisha. Shout out to Mike Honk. Shout out to Daniela. Shout out to Kimran. Your mother subscribed. Oh, so sweet. Oh, your mother subscribed. Thank you so much. My regards to your sweet mama. A big shout out to Ruby. A big shout out to Kairin. A big shout out to Savannah. A big shout out to Mia. A big shout out to Eden. A big shout out to Kiona. You're the best one. Thank you so much. Thank you. A big shout out to Paul. A big shout out to Lauren. A big shout out to Addison. Shout out to Ronnie. Shout out to Opa. Shout out to Habi. Shout out to Shangu. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Ima. Shout out to Emmy. Shout out to Shaybi. Shout out to Isla. Shout out to Willow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Big shout out to Keoki. Shout out to Rosanna. Shout out to Kiesha. Shout out to Marcy. Shout out to Ida. Big shout out to Edin. Shout out to Marcy. Shout out to Luz. Shout out to Kiki Harian. Shout out to Like. Shout out to Madeline. Shout out to Sabrina. Shout out to Lena. Shout out to King Charles. His Royal Highness. Respect to him. A big shout out to Lily. Shout out to Haley. Shout out to Steven. Shout out to Fiona. Shout out to Jacob. Shout out to Rachel. Shout out to Zoya. Shout out to Eden. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Rachel. Shout out to Zoya. Shout out to Aya. Shout out to Opelong. Shout out to Thomas. Shout out to Eden. Shout out to Corda. Shout out to John. Shout out to Nikolai. Shout out to Cinda. Shout out to Richard. Guys, I want to thank everyone for the likes. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, if you have no like, please like and sub. Thank you. Let's take 1 second, please, to like and sub. Yeah, I'm drinking tea. Warm tea. Everybody wants birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Yeah, I don't believe most of you. You just want me to sing birthday for you. You show me your birth certificates, then I'll believe you. Yeah, some of you are you just want that song. Okay, let's go. Please drop your name. Can we please take the likes up, please? Just for those that haven't liked. Yeah, just for people that haven't liked. Please, let's take the like up and subscribe as well. A big shout out to Ada Fred. A big shout out to Asani. A big shout out to Handy. A big shout out to Carlos. A big shout out to Hazley. A big shout out to Noah. A big shout out to Fiona. A big shout out to Banchan. A big shout out to Sahunu. A big shout out to NSC. Is that somebody's name? You must be high every day with that name. You be high like. A big shout out to Mari. A big shout out to Julia. A big shout out to Carly. A big shout out to Emilia. A big shout out to Cebu. A big shout out to Haja. A big shout out to Brooks. A big shout out to Ari. Oa. A big shout out to Urata. A big shout out to Kasa. A big shout out to Jadine. A big shout out to Alina. A big shout out to Bodine. A big shout out to Apina. A big shout out to Jessica. A big shout out to Kishani Bernardo. A big shout out to Fiona Sikuni. A big shout out to Kaniba. A big shout out to Poppy. A big shout out to Raven. A big shout out to Carolina. A big shout out to Gabby. A big shout out to Kehlani. A big shout out to Eliza. A big shout out to Aisha. A big shout out to Ruby, Melissa, Eliza, Ava, Mayes, Izadistus, Ruby, Daniela, Ava, Ruby, Nati, Daisy, Yami. Hi, Nati. Leoning, Angel, Dustin. Shout out to Christopher, Angela, Dylan, Emily, Taylor, Fiho, Sikuni, Leila, Salami. Who is saying tomatoes? Is your name Tomatoes? Polly, Cyan, Brooke, Savannah, Lara. Shout out to Los Bro. Shout out to Happy. Shout out to Kinley. Nati. Saya. Abigail. Shout out to Lala. Shout out to Saya. Shout out to Daniela. Shout out to Kingsley. Shout out to Priestley. Shout out to Alison. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to Imari. Shout out to Justice. Shout out to Imari. Shout out to D. George. Shout out to Maya. Shout out to Somaris. Shout out to Naisha. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to Monkeys. Shout out to Shani. Shout out to Martha. Shout out to Finjemi. Shout out to Safa. Shout out to Ivana. Shout out to Palma. Shout out to Harry. Shout out to Ivana. Shout out to Delisi. Shout out to Jack Makokna. Shout out to Jawinda. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Dean. Shout out to Flesher. Shout out to Uzaifa. Shout out to Marty. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Abigail. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Pink. She Uppers. Shout out to Mackenzie. Shout out to Cleo. Shout out to Alora. Shout out to Pink Sharp. Guys, please let's take 10 seconds to go like and sub. Thank you. Please, if you haven't liked, please like. And if you haven't sub, please sub. Thank you. I miss you too, Harvey. Hope you are good. Please let's take 10 seconds to like and to sub. Thank you. Oh, thank you, dear, for liking and subbing. Yeah, I'm waiting for more people. Hi, Appa. Yeah, please, we are just waiting waiting for them to take the like up. So we can continue. Thank you guys for the like and for subbing. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll go into it again. Okay, just keep dropping your name. I'll give you a shout. Bring on now. You're following on this thing. Use the small one. Eh? I can't shake my phone now. A big shout out to Alicia. Big shout out to Jackson. Big shout out to Binika. Big shout out to Bonica. Big shout out to Remy. Big shout out to Alexa. Big shout out to Honey. Big shout out to Ariana. That guy go watch match tomorrow.
See if he has prison.
You don't give him the address of the place. A big shout out to Enaja. A big shout out to Akli. A big shout out to Anaja. A big shout out to Lily. Shout out to J-Lead. Shout out to Famous. Shout out to Matthias. Put your caption now.
That's a bit.
Right there.
Just put the setting there.
Shout out to Honey. Not even to put it, do it by yourself. Shout out to Senna. Shout out to Hush. Shout out to Jeremiah. Shout out to Honeys. Shout out to Bennett. Shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Daisy. Shout out to Faith. Shout out to Catania. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out to Maximo. Shout out to DC. Shout out to Brianna. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Nilash. Shout out to Emilia. Emilia is back. Hi, darling. Shout out to Harmony. Shout out to Zandra. Shout out to Pauline. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Lonnie. Shout out to Paisley. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to King. Shout out to Betonin. Shout out to Andrew. Shout out to Lexi. Shout out to Dragon. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Rora. Shout out to Cha. Shout out to Broccoli. Shout out to Charlie. Shout out to Josley. Shout out to Mina. Shout out to Niveo. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Pina. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to James. Shout out to Ivy. Shout out to Judas. Shout out to Maya. Shout out to Easy. Shout out to Samantha. Shout out to Mina. Shout out to Afi. Shout out to Star. Shout out to Jasper. Shout out to Misu. Guys, please let's like and subscribe. Can we please take 10 seconds to like and subscribe? God bless you. Thank you so much. Please let's go like and sub. Yeah, please let's go like and sub and drop your names, please. A big shout out to Lucas. If you drop your name, I'll give you a shout. Let's go like and sub. If you're just joining, you have not like and sub, please let's go like and sub. A big shout out to Star. A big shout out to Kihana. A big shout out to David. A big shout out to Hamba. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please let's go like and sub. God bless you. A big shout out to Scarlett. A big shout out to Kizuki. A big shout out to Millie. A big shout out to Rosie. A big shout out to Camryn. A big shout out to Amiridi. Big shout out to Paige. Big shout out to Yasmin. A big shout out to Judy. A big shout out to Kiana. A big shout out to Miley's. A big shout out to Sayu. A big shout out to Delan. A big shout out to Team. A big shout out to Hamba. A big shout out to your lovely brother Ollie. A big shout out to Karen. A big shout out to Stone. You're welcome. A big shout out to Haya. A big shout out to Dark Knight. A big shout out to Alana. A big shout out to Hamba. A big shout out to Owen. Guys, please, if you're just here, if you're just coming, please let's like and sub. You're welcome. You're welcome. Please, let's like and sub. I got to go. Thank you so much, Star. Thank you. Please, let's like and sub. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Dillon. A big shout out to Edin. A big shout out to Ima. A big shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Shedrack. Shout out to Faye. Shout out to Selena. Shout out to Grant. Shout out to Simba. Simba in Lion King, right? Shout out to Alexander. Shout out to Lila. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Ovem. Shout out to Fayez. Shout out to Leticia. Shout out to Said your brother. Shout out to Tabitha. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Malaysia. Shout out to Bettina. Shout out to Dustin. Shout out to Eden. Shout out to Lovey. Dove. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to Arab. Shout out to her Isa. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Tabitha. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to Kayla. Shout out to Steve Aritin. Bless me. Guys, let's take 10 seconds to like and sub. Thank you so much. Just 10 seconds. Thank you, love and joy, for blessing me. Thank you so much. Please, can we take our time to go like and sub? And don't forget to drop your name. Please, if you have not like and sub, can we go like and sub? Thank you. Yeah, just 1 minute, then we continue. We have 30 seconds to go. 30 seconds, please. Then we continue. Thank you for subbing. I love your video so much. Thank you so much. Guys, I posted a video on my channel earlier today. Yeah, it's all about fashion acts. And yeah, you'll be seeing more of that. Please drop your comments on the video. Is a short. Please drop your comments and like. You're so good at hair. I'm trying. A big shout out to Drenley Martin. So okay, let's carry on. Okay, let's go. Please drop your names. Let's go. A big shout out to Emily. A big shout out to Mark. A big shout out to Terry. Shout out to Jack. Shout out to Ruby Star. Shout out to Ada. Shout out to Hobby. Shout out to Millie. Shout out to Nevaya. Shout out to Austin. Shout out to Millie. Guys, let's drop our names. Like and sub. Shout out to Rayleigh. I decided to like and sub. God bless you. Oh, God bless you too. A big shout out to Gracie. Thanks for liking my videos. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Mila. Let's go, guys. A big shout out to Judith. When are you doing another live stream? That will be tomorrow. A big shout out to Lucas. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Lucas. A big shout out to Hello Kitty. I will join the live stream. Thank you so much. Thank you. A big shout out to Azusema. A big shout out to Lily. A big shout out to Gamer Boy. God bless you. Thank you. A big shout out to Neva. A big shout out to Max, your brother. Shout out to Git. I didn't get that. A big shout out to Georgia. Thank you so much. Jodis, yeah. Thank you. A big shout out to Katerina. A big shout out to Scarlett. Everything like you are very, very love the jacket. Thank you. A big shout out to Noah. A big shout out to Hobby. A big shout out to Hellas. A big shout out to Maddie as Quira. Oh, bless you. Big shout out to Never. Oh, I didn't get that. A big shout out to Abby. A big shout out to Zara. A big shout out to Nila. A big shout out to Evie. A big shout out to Zara. A big shout out to Elias. A big shout out to Double Studios. A big shout out to Maddie has no aura. A big shout out to Painting. A big shout out to Meg Meeting. A big shout out to Aubrey. Please just write your name, guys. Please write your name. Like and sub. God bless you. A big shout out to Valentina. Alright, Double Studio. Yeah, I'll definitely see you soon. God bless. Please drop a comment on my videos. Yeah, let me know you've seen it and you like it. So you can watch my video fashion arc. You can also watch my live stream because I don't delete it, okay? Yeah, Double Studio. I'm talking to you. Bye, bestie. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. A big shout out to Kenzie. Please let's drop our name. Thank you. A big shout out to Hobby. God love you too. A big shout out to Chica. A big shout out to AC. A big shout out to Max Vatap. You should do a makeup tutorial. I will try. But I don't have a complete makeup kit now. Yeah, but I will look into it. Thank you. A big shout out to Evie. A big shout out to Yo. A big shout out to Jessica. A big shout out to ACR Sonora. A big shout out to Dream. A big shout out to Emily. Guys, please let's take 10 seconds to like and sub. Guys, please can we take 10 seconds to like and sub. A big shout out to Hyla. Shout out to Olivia. Urasasam. A big shout out to Recap. A big shout out to Gina. A big shout out to Eddie. A big shout out to Lucas. Guys, can we drop our names? Let's go, 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 go. Please, if you have any question, you need to be patient till close to the end of the video of the shout out. A big shout out to Eddie. A big shout out to Nick. Shout out to Ami. Shout out to Malik. Shout out to Hai. Shout out to Ami. Shout out to Barrett. Shout out to Leo. Shout out to Skylar. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Kelani. Shout out to Noah. Shout out to Kira. Shout out to Lola. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Mali. Shout out to Annie. Shout out to Julia. Shout out to Kati. Shout out to Elijah. Shout out to Berat. Shout out to Kati. Shout out to Isaac. Let's go, guys. Shout out to Isaac. Shout out to Harvey. Shout out to Ollie. Shout out to Eddie. A big shout out to your lovely sister Mira. Shout out to Ba One. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to Haley. Shout out to Urata. Also cute. Oh, thank you so much. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Sammy. Shout out to Gloria. Shout out to Amida. Shout out to Max. Shout out to Jenny. Shout out to 11. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Mira. Shout out to Ami. Shout out to Isaac. Shout out to King Kid. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to Mangi. Guys, please let's go like and sub. Thank you. If you are just joining and you have not liked, please like. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Please let's subscribe. Big shout out to Mila. Big shout out to Kaya. Big shout out to Hopa. Shout out to Gabriella. Shout out to AC Honora. Shout out to Amira. Shout out to Madison. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Leave. Shout out to Demi. Shout out to me. Shout out to Arash. One plus two. 1 plus 1 is 2. Soko. Ani kuru moko. Eh. A big shout out to Hopper. A big shout out to Haitam. A big shout out to Katie. A big shout out to Isaac. 1 plus 1 is 2. Circle. Please go like and subscribe. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, let's take 10 seconds to go like and sub. Let's like and subscribe. God bless you all. Please, can we take the like up? Can we like? A big shout out to Leo. A big shout out to Madison. A big shout out to Adrina. A big shout out to Baby. Please, let's put our name down. I give you a shout out. A big shout out to Julie, Willie. A big shout out to Ikaru. A big shout out to Logan. Please, guys, let's like and sub. Please, if you're just joining, please let's like and sub. Don't forget to drop your names. Please drop your names. A big shout out to Leilani. A big shout out to Happy. A big shout out to Jisha. A big shout out to Zoya. A big shout out to Leika. A big shout out to Leonardo. Leonardo Moreno. A big shout out to Annabelle. Please let's go like and sub. Thank you. Let's go. Drop your names. A big shout out to Habili Mala. A big shout out to Habili Mela. A big shout out to Aliyah. Oh, bless her. A big shout out to Mackenzie. A big shout out to Afizula. A big shout out to Rico. Rico, please like and sub. Thank you so much. You can tell your friends to join as well, or your family. Yeah, here we give people a shout out, and we're happy to do it. A big shout out to Bella and Genesis. You're welcome. A big shout out to Nova. A big shout out to Sheyane. A big shout out to Hava. I sub. Thank you so much, Rico. 1 + 1 is 2. Soko. Anikuru Moko. A big shout out to Mariam. A big shout out to Blake. Oh, thank you so much. Guys, I posted a video. Yeah, that's the content I create. I do fashion acts, hairstyles. Yeah, it's all gorgeous and pretty. You can have a look. Okay, drop your comments, drop a like. You know what I mean? So yeah, please always watch out every day for those contents. Yeah, they are lovely content. You're so pretty, you deserve to be a model. Thank you so much. I'm trying. Guys, a big shout out to Cleo. A big shout out to Ima. A big shout out to Kara. A big shout out to Eddie. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. A big shout out to Marisa. A big shout out to Christy. A big shout out to Hava. A big shout out to Madelina. A big shout out to Susan. A big shout out to Date. Your coat is pretty. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys look adorable. Your names are beautiful. You can see that I sing with your names. Yeah, because the names are beautiful. A big shout out to Ava. A big shout out to Luminita. A big shout out to Lee. A big shout out to Florine. I'm so jealous. You are so beautiful. Don't be jealous, my dear. You are gorgeous as well. Don't be jealous, you're gorgeous. We are all beautiful in our own look, you know. So appreciate yourself. A big shout out to Marcy. A big shout out to Mimi. A big shout out to Violet. A big shout out to Andre. Big shout out to Kiki. Big shout out to Isabella and Marisa. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Date. A big shout out to Marisa and Maria. A big shout out to Hella, your pregnant sister. A big shout out to Christian. A big shout out to Vava. A big shout out to Dennis. A big shout out to Philip. A big shout out to Vava. Please, we shouldn't forget to like as we come in. Please, we shouldn't forget to like as we come in. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Paulina. Please, we shouldn't forget to check my videos. The last video was a fashion arc. It's lovely. Yeah, it's so nice. A big shout out to Happy. A big shout out to Liliana. Big shout out to Husu. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Big shout out to Bogdan. A big shout out to Sophia. Big shout out to Moana. A big shout out to Nelia. A big shout out to Isla. A big shout out to Arzel. Big shout out to Aquili. A big shout out to Damien. Shout out to Melanie. Shout out to Marisa and Isabella. Shout out to Silvio. Can you please pull down your name? I'll give you a shout out. Shout out to Evis. Shout out to Haley. Shout out to Janessa. Shout out to Jamilia. Shout out to Haley. Shout out to Siupu Pichu. Guys, please let's go like and sub for 1 minute. Can you guys drop your names? Please let's go like and subscribe. Can we go like? If you're just coming in, please let's like. This is the time to like and this is the time to subscribe. Let's go, let's go, let's go, 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 go. Let's go, 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 go. 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 Okay, a big shout to Millie, a big shout to Henam, a big shout to Evelyn, big shout to Jessica, big shout to Abia, a big shout to Zamia. A big shout to Kanan, a big shout to Kenan. Thank you so much. A shout out to Evans. Shout out to Susanna. Shout out to Galili. A big shout out to Abla. Big shout out to Painting. A big shout out to Ernest. A big shout out to Rachel. A big shout out to Wendy. Shout out to Adasa. Let's go. Please, let's drop our names. Don't forget to watch my videos. Okay, and like and subscribe. It's amazing videos. Shout out to Josie. Shout out to Bessie. Shout out to Brianna. Thank you so much, guys. Please, if you want to shout out, please, let's go. Yeah, let's drop our names. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to King. Shout out to Tama. Shout out to Melanie. Shout out to Reese. Shout out to Ruena. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Nadia's Playhouse. Hi, girls. Shout out to Rui. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to Rosie. Shout out to Candace. Shout out to Octavius. Shout out to Shout out to Tama. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Tiu. I'm good, thank you. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Bicessa. Shout out to Brooke. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Kiki. Please let's go like and sub. Thank you so much. Let's take 1 minute to like and sub. Thank you all. I'm grateful. Just let's take 1 minute. Big shout out to Elvis. Please 1 minute. 1 minute please to like and sub. I'll be back. Big shout out to Amatiste.
So you can't get mine. You don't get mine. You don't believe it or come out.
I don't know to. I don't know how many of this.
30 minutes. No. 3, 2, 10.
This morning,
Don't forget my brother here. I'm not coming to anybody for them.
what about your own? What about your own?
You well.
How many?
You hear about 10.
Let me do that one. I'll be now you. Okay. So guys, let's go. Please let's like and sub. Thank you. Yeah, I'm back. Drop your names. Your gorgeous, gorgeous name. A big shout out to Karen. A big shout out to Flora. A big shout out to Lara. A big shout out to Veila. A big shout out to Kayla. A big shout out to Cassie. Hi. A big shout out to Lima. A big shout out to Akire. A big shout out to Kayla. Okay. Yeah, guys, let's go. A big shout out to Jessica. Big shout out to Idaya. Big shout out to Avery. Big shout out to Akire. Big shout out to Lima. Big shout out to Evie. Big shout out to Skylar. Guys, please let's go like and sub. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Gracie. I wanted to ask you who to discuss live. Sorry, I didn't get the question. Shout out to Happy. Shout out to Bavari. Shout out to Lillian. Shout out to Evie. Guys, drop your name. Shout out to Isela. Shout out to Marcin. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Azin. Shout out to Kayla. Shout out to Isela. Shout out to Marcin. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to Evie. Shout out to Mali. Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to Isla. Shout out to Ciara. Shout out to Isabella. Shout out to Corey. Shout out to Broccoli. Shout out to Jesiah. Shout out to Evie. Hi. Hi, Isabella. Hope you're good. How are you? Shout out to Rose. Shout out to Afsat. I'm good, thank you. Shout out to Haley. Shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Tempa. Gorgeous names. Shout out to Jury. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Salish Mata. Shout out to Hyline. Shout out to Azin. Shout out to Azel. Guys, please, if you're just coming in, please like. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you. Can we please like the live? Shout out to Maya. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Fred. Shout out to Ima. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Aya, Asiya. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Milani. Goody, 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 rasam sam. Guys, let's go like and sub. A big shout out to Soma. Big shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Nina. Shout out to Milani. Shout out to Soliana. Shout out to Hava. Shout out to Really. Shout out to Nina. Shout out to Reagan. Shout out to Amo. Shout out to Rihanna. Yeah, people have your name. Yeah, you're not the only one bearing that name, guy. Okay? So even if I call your name, yeah, they might think it's not you. So there are a lot of thousands of people, millions of people bearing that name. So it doesn't really matter. Put down your name. Somebody might come that bears your name. The person will put it down and give you a shout, give the person a shout. A big shout out to Mia and Ali. A big shout out to Sonny. A big shout out to Lily. A big shout out to Mia and Harley. Guys, please, can you sub for me? Let's go like. I know some of you are just coming. Please, let's like. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you. You're welcome. Big shout out to Uchi. Big shout out to Bella. I am new. I sub. Thank you, Miss Tree. Thank you. Big shout out to Zoe and Lily. Big shout out to Legacy. Thank you for subbing, Legacy. Big shout out to Haley. Big shout out to Zoe and Lily. I like your nails. They are pretty. Oh, Clarky. Thank you. Bonjour. Bonjour. Ça va? You're welcome. Big shout out to Christabel. I like your jacket. Thank you so much. Shout out to Robbie. Shout out to Allegrana. Shout out to Lovey. Shout out to Natalia. Shout out to Jessie. Guys, shout out to Bonnie. Shout out to Mazai. Shout out to Mazala. Thank you so much. I'm seeing people's comment dropping on my videos. I post videos every day. I create content every day. Thank you so much. Please drop your comment when you see my videos. Please drop your comment and also comment and like. They are lovely videos, okay? You can share the video. You can as well Okay, invite your friends to join because there are more fashion acts to do. Yeah, and yeah, I'm happy about it. Please drop your own comments. Thank you so much. A big shout out to Zakaria. Big shout out to Lenny. Big shout out to Charlie. Big shout out to Jaden. Big shout out to Ruby. Big shout out to Bonnie. Big shout out to Dashan. Big shout out to Shirley. Big shout out to Shane. Big shout out to Crystal. A big shout out to Nye. Big shout out to Bella. Shout out to Ruby. Shout out to Mazala. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Farah. Shout out to Emirad. Lovely names. You guys have lovely, pretty names. Oh, so gorgeous. Yeah, please, guys, can you take just some seconds to like and sub? Yeah, just some seconds. It won't take long. Like and sub. Thank you. Maybe, yeah, if you have like and sub, please let's go back into it. A big shout out to Mia. A big shout out to Isagan. Big shout out to Rona Bell. A big shout out to Savi. A big shout out to Cleo. A big shout out to Allegra. A big shout out to Ariana. A big shout out to Booby. A big shout out to Kendall. A big shout out to Daisy. A big shout out to Bonnie. A big shout out to Arzel. A big shout out to Denisa. A big shout out to Vienna. A big shout out to Booby. A big shout out to Bonnie. A big shout out to Ima. A big shout out to Mariella. A big shout out to Kelly. A big shout out to Kufela. A big shout out to Willow. A big shout out to Rachel. A big shout out to Georgia. A big shout out to Haley. A big shout out to Bonnie. A big shout out to Gianluca. Shout out to Willow. Shout out to Alice. Shout out to Rose. Shout out to Double. Shout out to Easy. Shout out to Easy. Shout out to Annabelle. Shout out to Marella. Shout out to Bontu. Shout out to Riva. Guys, let us take 1 minute. 1 minute to like and sub. Yeah, then we carry on. Just 1 minute. Then just want to drink water. Just for 1 minute. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Please, 1 minute to like and sub. Thank you so much. Thank you. A big shout out to Pippa. A big shout out to Glinda. A big shout out to Remini. A big shout out to Zoe. A big shout out to Taylor. A big shout out to Kayla. A big shout out to Shelesia. A big shout out to Bonnie. Shout out to Laura. Shout out to Kimberly. Shout out to Shalesia. Shout out to Mike Cox. Shout out to Annalise. Shout out to Fatima. Shout out to Adana. Shout out to Clara. Shout out to me, Rihama. Shout out to Epstein. Shout out to Valeria. Shout out to Aidana. Hi, Maddie. Shout out to Maddie. Please let's go like and sub. Maddie, how are you, dear? Diva. Shout out to Ariana. Shout out to Shamia. Shout out to Zayed. Shout out to Oliva.
Only not this sleep.
Shout out to Marissa and Isabella. Nobi. Shout out to Natalie. Natalia. Shout out to Avari. Shout out to Malena. Shout out to Neya. Shout out to Danisha. Shout out to Shout out to Skylar. Shout out to Jahara. Thank you for subbing and liking. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Luna. Shout out to Nia. Shout out to Harmony. Shout out to Roslyn. Shout out to Brandion. You're gorgeous, thank you. Shout out to Bonnie. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Jasmine. Shout out to Harmony. Shout out to Jaquili. Thank you so much. Shout out to Odira Comics. Shout out to Yaya. Guys, please let's drop our name, like and sub. I'll be leaving in less than 5 minutes, please. You look like Banshang from. Thank you so much. Shout for you. Shout to me, yeah. Shout to Jordan. Shout to Jace. Shout to Elizabeth. Shout to Gabriella. Shout to Genovic. Guys, I'll be leaving in less than 2 minutes. Yeah, I'll be ending the live stream. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Shout out to Essa. Shout out to Genesis. Shout out to Naya. Okay, guys, I think it's time up. Yeah, it's time to. Yeah, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you, guys. Yeah, it was a nice time with you. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. There we can continue. Thank you for your time. I love you all. Yeah, please like and subscribe. Most especially, yeah, can you please subscribe so that when I come live, you'll be the first person I'll give a shout out, and you can have as much as possible. And also, I posted a video today. You can go have a look. It's an amazing, it's beautiful video. Just a fashion arc, a simple arc to, elevate our our fashion sense, and just to be creative. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you. So I'll see you guys. I'm missing you guys already. I love you all. Stay blessed. Don't look for trouble. Clock it. Thank you so much. For those that are just coming in, I'm so sorry. I have to leave. Okay, and I will see you tomorrow. Someone is asking, are you tired? Not really, but I think the time is up. Yeah, I timed myself, and yeah, thank you. Yeah, oh no, bye. Yeah, I had to go. Thank you so much, guys. It was really nice. Yeah, it was a nice time. Thank you so much. So I'll see you guys. Yeah, don't forget to drop your comments on the videos. Don't forget to like, let me know I see your comments. I might not reply, but I will just like it or give it. Just give your comment a like. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. You all are amazing. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Bye. Guys, let's go have a sleep, okay? Sweet dreams. Good night. Oh, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Is it morning? No, it will be in the afternoon. Yeah, it will be in the afternoon about, I think about 2. There won't be morning streaming, to be afternoon. Oh, you subscribe. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for subscribing. So I'll definitely see you guys tomorrow. If you want to see me tomorrow, you have to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, do you drink? I don't drink. No, what kind of drink is it? Coke, Fanta, or alcohol? Do you mean alcohol? Yeah, do you mean alcohol? I subscribe and like. Thank you, guys. Let's go like and subscribe. Some persons are still writing their names. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to go. All right, thank you. Bye. I miss you. Love you. Love you guys. Clock it.